すまなかった、レナ。
Okay. What happened last time? It was kind of a blur. Oh yeah, it was the people were following her, like home or something, and then Keiichi went face to face. She like investigating more of the scrapbooks, and then it was all just yeah. Hello, Rissa. You got it first this time. Okay, so in the past 3 days, it's been Hamburger, and then Dianea, and then you.
俺はどこかでレナの話を疑ってたよ。
Barely did make it, Dianea. I'm filling up my water. I laugh like a crazy person when I get first. I think you get a bit too into this, Rissa.
本当にすまない。
いいよ、ケイチ君。そのおかげで待ち伏せをやり過ごせたんだしね。
あいつらは何者なんだ。そのお社様信仰を復活させようとする信者の集団の手先。
This is the first chapter where it's not like this is serious. I see that you are right. Yes, it is very serious topics to worry about. You know, when you if you don't get first, it's life or death, basically.
彼らにはそういう自覚はないと思う。彼らを操っている黒幕はそうなんだと思うけどね。多分ダム戦争の当時から陰で様々な工作をしてきた連中なんだと思う。
Ever since the dam conflict. I mean, I trust Lena. She's like the smart one.
ダム戦争の最中にその崎家が裏でいろいろと暗躍したって話は俺も少しは聞いたことがあるな。
I trust her judgment. Learning plants on Yu-Gi-Oh again? It's probably the hardest deck in the game. Why is it the hardest deck in the game?
有名な話だよね。
Ursa, you plan to be baking anything?
これは大石さんに聞いたんだけど、ダム戦争の最中に誘拐事件があったんだって。これも秘密の事件なんだけど、なんでも建設大臣の孫を誘拐してダム建設中止の約束を裏取引したんだって。
大臣の孫を
I just
誘
made
拐
asparagus for you guys. Nice. Great. You have to be so specific and precise. I'm asking a question, okay? What am I supposed to do as a streamer if I just don't sit, if I sit here, all right? I'm just like, oh, cool. I'm saying that, well, how do you, like, maneuver it, you know? Like, you have to, like, there's some decks where it's like, you know, like you were telling me about like other decks where you sacrifice certain cards, right? You have decks where, I mean, you were telling me about the other card, right? That where you blow up things on like on the entire board, right? You have like do plants, this is just, do plants like you place them on the board and they have to grow and you have to protect them as they become stronger over time. That's something I could think of how plants work. What's something else? Maybe you give them like ways to power them up stronger, like maybe they absorb sunlight or something. I don't know. Like that's why I'm asking. Because I don't know how this works. Do you like asparagus? I don't hate it. It wouldn't say it's like my favorite thing, but like I don't dislike it. Like I enjoy most vegetables, and I will eat most vegetables, and asparagus is one of those.
おいおい、そんなの聞いたことないぞ。
大臣が犯人との取引に応じる姿勢を見せたため、事件を公にしないことになったんだって。
You have to be so specific and precise in the gameplay of the deck. Okay, okay. No, sorry, yeah.
大石さんは当時その事件に関わったから知ってるんだ。
I see, okay. So it's like a fine I am insulting you, wow. Yes, of course, Rissa. Because you have to do it in for Surplus not being here. You have to be the one to insult me.
それで
Easy to mess up, very combo heavy, and you have to adapt like crazy. I see, okay.
大石さんが言うには、孫の誘拐や大臣の脅迫などの手口は恐ろしいほどに高度だったんだって。
Very combo heavy, and you have to adapt like crazy. You need like 5 steps ahead at all times. So you have to be predicting what the opponent is doing. Yes, why do you say that like you wear it as a badge of pride? Like it's a good thing to be doing, okay? Surplus is a butt. He is. There's no one more butt-like than Surplus.
当時、園崎家の当主である園崎お涼は武装闘争の方針を打ち出していて、配下である暴力団組織の中に特攻隊を組織したそうなの。ダム計画の撤回がどうしても望めないときは、
I think you're more of a butt, really.
武力制圧しようなんて。
What makes me so much of a butt, then?
本気で練っていたらしいの。
I just realized my things here aren't even. How did I never notice it? They're not uneven, it's just this one is, yeah, broken. Okay, never mind. Because your combos will drastically change depending on your hand. A lot of decks you can load 1 or 2 combos and you'll find. There's adaptability, but not nearly as much. I see, okay. Are you having fun learning it, though? I don't know. Well, if you don't know, how am I supposed to know? Everybody knows that the Sonozaki family had tried to stop the dam project, even if it meant breaking the law. So I wasn't so surprised to hear that she had a dangerous plan like that. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Mion who came up with the idea. The plan sounded just like her.
結局、その計画は計画のままで終わったんだけど、それを実行するための特攻隊の訓練というのは行われていて、相当高度なものだったらしいよ。
Oishi had uncovered the information right after the dam conflict ended. Can you say, my name is Jeff? My name is Jeff. Is that how you wanted it to be said? At the time, Oryo even said that if the village was going to be submerged, all the members of Onigafuchi Guardians would choose to stay in their houses and drown. What is the face? What is that face? In a silly voice. My name's Jeff. There. Are you happy? According to the information Oishi seized, she planned a suicide mission as a last resort to the dam conflict, when the dam conflict started to heat up, in case the resistance wasn't successful. She'd actually obtained weapons and put people through training for the sake of that plan. I learned it a couple of years ago. I remember all the staples, but not the combos. I remember other decks you were learning. I can't remember when you said you were learning plants. Like, I remember the salamanders, and then you were telling me about that other one, that, like, you sent me the 4-hour video on. Branded, I think it was. Can't remember the plants, though. Plants probably have the most potential of any deck, but it's so hard that people don't play it often. Oh, okay. Like, the easiest to win? If you get everything lined up correctly? The Special Attack Corps were flown to America, having received a huge amount of money from Oryo for the operation. In the southern desert of the United States, some retired military soldiers give them highly professional training. While the plan was never carried out, the Special Attack Corps became a death squad under the direct control of Oryo, after they came back from America. They were involved in many unsolved terrorist incidents, and they succeeded in kidnapping the grandson of the minister as well.
嘘みたいな話だな。
兄ちゃんがよくヘリの操縦から無線機まで何でもできる。
I mean, future proof. There are multiple plant cards that let you search any plant card from your deck, not just archetype specific. Oh! Wait, so how does that work then? Do you, like, is it like when you're searching through, it just like gives you, like for online version, right? You would probably just choose something from the screen, that like, it just shows you all your plant cards and you choose one? Do you like maple syrup? Yes, I do like maple syrup. I mean, I think it's hard to not like maple syrup. Who doesn't like maple syrup, you know? Yes, okay. How would that work? I mean, I don't know if you know all the nuances, but how would that work in person-to-person play? Do you have to, like, just scroll, like, look at all your cards and see where they're at so you know what you're drawing? Like, how does that work? It's very... That does sound very good.
あれは本当。みーちゃんも当時、その訓練に参加してるらしいよ。
じゃあ、あいつ、本当に。
まあ、みーちゃんの話はともかく。
What?
このひなみ沢には、大臣の孫すらも誘拐できるだけの暗殺部隊が存在するってことだけは疑っちゃダメ。
I didn't take a closer look at the 4 men in the white van today, but thinking about it, they did look professional in a way. Well, if I activated Jasmine's second effect to add any card with the plant typing, I look through my entire deck for any plant type and add it to my hand and shuffle. Okay, so you have to shuffle afterwards. Makes sense. You're pretending to just be taking a break, but I could tell they were tense the whole time.
それで、あいつらはレナの命を狙っているのか？
多分、狙ってはいないと思う。
Pancakes or waffles?
レナの命を狙っていると思う。
Pancakes or waffles?
レナの命を狙っていると思う。
Pancakes?
レナの命を狙っていると思う。
Pancakes? I think I've eaten more pancakes. So, okay, here's the thing. I think pancakes are better if they have stuff inside. But I think waffles are better if you're talking about, like, plain. So, plain waffles versus, plain pancakes, I think waffles are better. Plain pancakes, or sorry, like, flavored pancakes versus flavored waffles, I think pancakes are better. I only ask questions about food. You know what? And I call that based. Questions about food are great. But maybe because it's so broad, you could do any plant, it's preventing cause with that typing to be super good. So they purposely keep it in, like, a nerfed spot because otherwise it'll be too good, is what you're trying to say?
殺すだけだったら、私もう殺されてるよ。
じゃあ、狙いは、まさかあれか、高野さんのスクラップ帳。
Glad you don't mind, it's all I have to ask, but that is okay, you know? I don't mind answering questions about anything. And as you have seen many times in stream, there have been many worse questions that have been asked, so don't worry about asking me about food questions. That is very tame compared to the other things I've answered in the past. Yeah, possibly, but if there ever is, okay. And what flavored pancake do you like the best? I don't know. I don't think I've actually had many, like, a huge repertoire of, like, oh, I've eaten so many pancake flavors before, you know? I don't think I've had. A lot of times we'd have pancakes because when I lived with my parents, right? I would, my mom always had, made pancakes and eggs for us every Saturday morning. Or Friday morning, sorry. Because in the Middle East, Fridays, the weekends are Friday, Saturday, but that's besides the point. Yeah, so I've mainly had plain pancakes in my life. So, she wasn't one to, she doesn't like flavored stuff that much. So that's what we had. I like hot dogs. Exactly, just like hot dogs, Diana. I had cinnamon roll pancakes the other day. It was so good. It is very good, but like, man, the calories on that thing, it is so much. Like, I've had them once, I think, from Denny's, and it was just too much. Too sweet. But I haven't had good cinnamon roll pancakes, so if you're gonna tell me, like, what do you mean those pancakes? You'd have to have this and I'm sorry, okay? I'm not that adventurous in making stuff.
だって、強引な連中なら、私の自宅の寝込みを襲えばいいんだから。
Yes, oh, you had those ones. Okay, nice. There you go.
それをしないってことは、結構慎重だってことになるな。
多分、私がスクラップ帳を持っているという確信がないからだと思うの。彼らは
calories crazy though for yeah they are like I would really be ordering them more, but like when I look at the calories for those, I'm just like, no, I can't. Like just Denny's in general, their stuff. I like Denny's. I know a lot of people don't like Denny's, but I like Denny's. But the calories on those things in Denny's, it's just too much.
ところが一番重要な数冊が抜けていた。それで自分が狙われているのを察して誰かに預けたんじゃないかと考えてるんだと思うの。その有力候補が。
I'm glad we agree, Rissa. Like, oh, Konami would make a very good versatile plant for that reason. Have they added stuff to plants in general, though, or have they just not touched plants once they've released it?
でも確証がないから強引な手段に
That's just the calories of all fast foods. That is true, but like certain fast foods are better than others, or like in terms of calorie count. Like for example, Taco Bell has lower calories in their stuff, you know, compared to like, I don't know.
そうだね。
Like Denny's. Yeah.
ちょっと怖いかな。でも、そう簡単には消されないよ。私は大石さんと連携している。有事の際に備えて、常に連絡を取り合っているしね。
そうだ。大石さんはどう言ってるんだよ。
Oh, here we go. Okay. Hmm. Wait, where'd he put it? In all right or good? Where'd he put it? Yeah, he put it into all right. So like he doesn't even put it that high. What should you do a tier list of? Do it on. I'm sure Dyna would love for you to make a tier list of Higurashi characters based on nothing. Like you know absolutely nothing on any character, but you should do the tier list and then see what Dyna thinks of it.
その崎家が何らかの暗躍をしていないか監視してくれてるよ。
高野さんのスクラップ帳の話はしたのか？
話してない。
警察には話した方がいいだろう。それに警察ならきっと力になってくれるぞ。
ケイチ君、私は君にだって信じてもらえるか自信がなくて話せないでいるんだよ。大石さんに話したって、絶対に信じてもらえるわけがない。
Like Oishi wouldn't believe her. Makes sense.
なあ、レナ。もう煙に巻くのはなしだ。話してくれ。一体何なんだ？何がスクラップ帳に書いてあるんだ？
Well, she knows that she put her either bottom to spite me or up top because you trust your... I see, okay.
高野さんが消されるほどの何が書いてあるんだ？
簡単に言うと、このスクラップ帳に書いてあることが事実なら、彼らの神が貶められることになる。
The god they worship will be dethroned. That's kind of a fire line, but I can't lie.
神を貶める？
そう。お社様の神聖性が失われてしまう。だから、お社様信仰を復活させようとする彼らは、絶対に伏せたいと思っているの。
すまん、レナ。もう少し分かりやすく言ってくれ。つまり、どういうことなんだ？
つまり、お社様は神様じゃないってことなの。
神様じゃない？
I had no idea what she read. Oyashiro-sama isn't a god. Is she a demon? Hey, Ruben! Or is Oyashiro-sama a demon then? I had no idea what she read that made her so certain, but whatever it was, it'd be sacrilegious for people who believe so strongly in Oyashiro-sama.
お社様の教えっていくつもあるけど、
Arby's! Welcome Arby's! Welcome Arby's sandwich!
それは、中から出るな。この大原則を守るために、その他の競技を発展させたと言ってもいいくらい。隣人を愛せとか、家内安全とか、縁結びの神様なんてのは、本当に後から取ってつけたものでしかないの。
In other words, Oyashiro-sama existed solely to stop the villagers from going outside the village. Oyashiro-sama doesn't bless the villagers or protect them from disasters. The people believe that Oyashiro-sama does that all for them, but the truth is that the people abuse his name for that purpose. Generation after generation, and nothing more than that. Why did Oyashiro-sama descend in the first place? Because demons came out of Onigafuchi swamp and attacked people.
実は、この時点で解釈が違ってたの。鬼が湧き出して襲ったんじゃない。湧き出したものにやられると、人々を襲う鬼になるの。
湧き出したもの？どういう意味だよ、レナ。
Whatever came out of the swamp possessed people, crawled into their blood, controlled them, and turned them into demons. People had no resistance against whatever it was that came out of the swamp. They became demons and attacked the other villagers, and turned them into demons as well. That's right. It was a weird infectious disease that broke out from the swamp. It made the infected people go out of control. The villagers saw this disaster and planned it like so. We're not gonna do the thing. Okay, sounds fun. Yeah, sure. I don't mind you sending me, but if you want to watch it on stream, I will say to do the, you know, the watch link or whatever it is. You know, the watch less than a minute or something, or like, yeah, a minute max. The villagers saw the demon and explained it like so. Evil demons came out from the bottom of the swamp, possessed people, and turned them into demons as well. This is the truth of the story of the demons that came out of Onigafuchi swamp.
確かに。それだと伝説をうまく説明できるな。じゃあ、お社様ってのは、ひょっとして異国から来た医者？
そうだね。正確には正しくないけど、そう、医者と呼べる存在。それが降臨して伝染病を治療したの。でも、それは治療ではなく、対処療法でしかなかった。
All this treatment could do was reduce the symptoms of the infection. Villagers could have their symptoms suppressed, but there's no way to kill the parasites that had infected them. After a while, the village was divided into two groups. One group was made of people who were already infected, and the other consisted of the people who weren't. So it seems like the way that they're going with the story overall is that it's not like they're trying to point it in the direction of no supernatural stuff. I really have a hard time believing that. But I guess we'll see if if this story is gonna be solved in the end with absolutely no supernatural things. One group was made of people who already were infected, and the other consisted of people who weren't. Carefully disease. Uninfected look down on people who could only suppress their mind. What do you have here, Rissa? Okay. Is this the Reuben? Oh, wait, why did it cut off? It would be funny if this was Reuben though, but this is crazy. How much is it? It's there's chicken underneath, and I'm guessing there's turkey, there's roast beef, there's like salami maybe. Like what even is there on this? That's the ending. Like, yeah, what is this? Oh, insane. An accordion of flesh. That is what it looks like. Arby's, they do. I don't even know. Like, it's almost as bad as the KFC Double Down. Not a cure for the disease. The uninfected looked down on people who could only suppress their violent symptoms. They even talked about drowning them in the swamp. Killing the infected people wouldn't solve the problem. The parasites came out of the water sources, including Onigafuchi Swamp. They couldn't fill them all in, for if they did that, they would lose their access to drinking water. They could have chosen to leave the village, but that was hard for them. That was the location of their ancestors' graves. Under the power of Oyashiro-sama, infected people could live without showing symptoms. So, both those who were infected and those who weren't decided to live together equally and to coexist with the parasite. Oyashiro-sama, you gotta do the list? Alright, sounds good. Let me know how it turns out. Oyashiro-sama was impressed by the villagers' decision. He decided to stay there and continue to treat them.
それが、親代様がこの地に留まり、人と鬼の生活
Basically,
を見守っ
Ruben,
たの真相か。
right before you actually, I don't know like if you can see the chats before you joined, but like right before you joined, they decided that they're gonna like Daineo was gonna have Rissa do the tier list to rank Higurashi characters with her knowing nothing about Higurashi. So we'll see how it comes out after.
そしてお社様は感染者である村人たちに症状を出さないために掟を作った。その最大にして唯一のものが村から出てはいけない。
外から人を入れてはいけないってのはわかるぜ。感染者を増やさないためだろう。でも出てはいけないってのはどういう意味なんだ？
寄生虫たちは気候や風土の関係でこのひなみ沢の地でしか生きられないらしいの。
Whoa, that is really weird if that is. But then I don't understand, right? Oh, then that would be Rika injecting someone with the parasite. But then I don't understand what causes people to scratch or claw at their throats, you know? It's a bit weird.
だから宿主である感染者がこの地を離れようとすると強い症状を出してそれを妨害するの。その妨害こそがいわゆるお社様のたたりの正体。
The strongest symptoms of the infectious disease were violence and delirium. The infected people acted out just like demons, and the impact of seeing them in the throes of the disease was strong enough to make the others describe them as such. They couldn't even let people leave who had just come to the village. If they had left after being infected, they might go crazy in a faraway land, turn into a vicious demon, and cause disaster. Infected people were never allowed to leave. When an infected person left the village, they brought him back by any means necessary. That was what it really meant to be demoned away. Wait, what?
ちょっと待てよ、レナ。
Okay.
だとしたら、俺やレナも
Excuse me.
村人はみんなその病気に感染してることになるよな。でも俺たちはひなみ沢を離れたって別に何の問題もないぞ。実際 村人にも結婚したりして遠方に住んでる人も少なくないらしいじゃないか。ひなみ沢をちょっと離れたからって錯乱して鬼と化したなんて聞いたことないぞ。
そう。それはまさにお社様の目論見通りにことが進んだからなんだよ。意味がわかるかな。この村を長い間封印してきたのは寄生虫の害を弱めるためなの。
Hosts are very important for parasites. If something happened to the host, the parasite that lived in the host have to share the same fate. In other words, if the host went crazy and attacked people, the host would be captured and killed. Which means that the parasites would die with the host too. Did you take your walk today, Ruben, or was it raining today again?
自然淘汰か。
さすが圭一君。そう。この地で長く生活を重ね、厳しい戒律で生活を続けた結果、寄生虫に対し過敏な人間は錯乱して、結局殺された。また、感染者を錯乱させてしまうような強すぎる寄生虫は、これもまた、錯乱した宿主と共に殺された。その結果、寄生虫と人間は、互いに相性がいい種だけが残っていった。これこそが、お社様の伝説が伝える、鬼と人の血は混じり合ったことの真相。
じゃあ、つまり、その寄生虫は、ほとんど無害なわけなのか。
Okay. But I still don't understand what causes people to like claw at their like hands or whatever to get the maggots out. Like that doesn't make any sense with me.
ミオさんのスクラップ帳によると、そういった無害な寄生虫に感染しているケースというのは、
I've always thought this. If I saw things leaving from my body, right, and there was never an issue before, I don't understand why I would start doing this. And the way Rika killed herself in chapter 5, right, was she, instead of just like slashing her throat and then leaving it at that, she slashed at her throat and then she had to claw it herself, right? I don't know why she did that.
食文化にもよるけど、例えば生肉を食べる国では国民の8割くらいが感染している例もあるんだって。でも矯正できてて人体に全く無害だから誰も治療しない、気づかない。だから撲滅もされない。
なるほどな。
太古の綿流しはね、実は腹綿流しと書く物騒なものでね。
Harawata.
錯乱した犠牲者の臓腑を食らうものだったの。でもこれも必要なことだった。
感染して犠牲になった人を食らう。まさかワクチンとか？
圭一君はやっぱり頭がいいね。うん。ミオさんもそう読み解いてる。
Well, I don't understand why Mio, like, or Takano knows so much information. Like, why does she know so much? That doesn't information does not come from the library alone. Otherwise, it would be easy for other people to find it. Why does she know so much?
伝説では犠牲者を生きたまま解体して食らったなんて物騒なことになっているけど、実際はそんな野蛮なものじゃなくて、もっともっと医学的に取り扱われていたらしいの。強すぎる寄生虫のせいで死んだ犠牲者からワクチンを作り出し、同時に村人の抵抗力も高めていった。
お社様ってのは何者なんだよ、一体。医学先進国っていうとドイツか？正体はひょっとしてナンパして流れ着いた外国人医師？
多分圭一君の答えが一番一般的だと思う。ドイツ人ではないんだけど、とりあえず医者的な存在であったのは正解。
古代の伝説の秘密が明かされていくってのはなんだか面白いな。
I don't think that Rena's story is too crazy to be true anymore. It still sounds crazy, of course, but I've never heard of any theories that explain the legend of this village better than this one.
多分俺も感染してるんだよな。なんだか体中が痒くなってくるぜ。
人間だって一つの宇宙だよ。体の中には
Yeah,
無数の
that's exactly what I was gonna say when Keisha
その
said
中に
that.
は私たちの生活には欠かせない有用な細菌たちも少なくないんだよ。
ああ、よくヨーグルトとかの CM で言ってるよ
I
な。
didn't even know there was bacteria in yogurt.
確かに
What?
そうだ。
これもミオさんの受け売りだけど、例えばシロアリっているでしょ。木材を食い荒らしてしまうアリ。実はシロアリって木材を消化できないんだって。
I've heard of this as well with
体内に
termites.
寄生している特殊な細菌が食べた木材の繊維を分解してくれて、その結果シロアリは木材を吸収できるんだって。これも寄生虫と共生している一例だね。
I didn't know that. When I hear the word parasites, I feel creeped out almost instinctively. But now I know some of them aren't so bad
だ
to
から
us.
太古の昔に鬼ヶ淵村から突如発生した奇怪な伝染病は今ではほぼ根絶されたと言っていい。根絶じゃないね。無害になったと言うべきだね。
最初はとんでもない話だと思ってたけどさ、こうして種明かしがされると、なんだかサイエンスな感じがして、ちょっと面白い話だよな。
私たちには面白いよ。
But why is it so important to these people chasing Rena that they get this scrapbook, you know? I feel like this information is important. Like, I understand to control the villagers, right? But why do you need to control the villagers? For what reason?
でも、お社様を神として崇める人たちにとっては、これはとても不愉快な説。
Is it like to just keep people here in Hinamizawa? But why? Of course, if Takano-san's theory is correct, Oyashiro-sama isn't a god. The punishment by that god, namely the curse of Oyashiro-sama, that people have been so afraid of, will turn out to just have been the symptoms of an infectious disease. I see. That's what dethroning God would mean.
だとすると、もしこの伝染病の病原体を特定して世間に発表されるようなことがあれば、信仰は破綻しちまうな。
そう。それこ
Okay, now we
そが
swapped over.
彼らの一番恐れることなの。そしてミオさんは、その病原体を特定しようとしていたらしい。
I don't know why the color changed now. Like, why is she red? Before she was pink.
そのミオさんが消されたということは、
Like, they just changed one
特
day.
定できたってことが。
かもしれないね。ミオさんはもういないし、彼女のスクラップ帳にも特定できたとは書かれていない。でも、消されるに値する理由が他に思いつかないの。
でもよ、20世紀ももうすぐ終わろうっていう現代だぜ。村人だっていろんな医療機関で検査を受けてきたはずだ。なのにそういう怪しげな寄生虫が摘出されたって話はないんだろう。
うん。確かに病原体そのものは未だ発見されていない。でも、確かに何かの規制を受けていることの信号だけは確認されているんだって。
なんだって？本当かよ。
When a parasite enters a human body, that body's immune system cells, eosinophils, and macrophages try to kill the parasite. They secrete an antibody called immunoglobulin E. The most common way of checking if a person is infected by a pathogen is to look at the levels of this secretion. According to Takano's research, people from Hinamizawa have a very high level of Iggy in their body. Iggy? Like Rena's icky? That's not all. They also have obvious symptoms of being infected by parasites. They don't have any allergies. Iggy stimulates mast cells, and they secrete histamines and serotonin as a result. These cause an allergic reaction. That allergic reaction isn't pleasant for humans, but is necessary for the body to kill the pathogen. Alright, the tier list is made, sent to it. Let's see. Okay. Oh, Surplus is not gonna be happy about that. This is actually really funny here, though. Why are all the dudes in the same tier, along with Oreo? Except, and then I guess this guy as well. I put that last character last on purpose. Oh, okay. Just for Surplus. Okay. Because men need to be together. Of course. Why didn't I think of that? Obviously. Chie top 1. I can see that being the case. Takano also up there. Never. Did you like it? Yes, it was very insightful. It was very insightful. What did you base it on? Like, you know, for not knowing anything about the characters, what did you base it on? As a result, Iggy stops stimulating the receptors of the mast cells, which stop secreting the chemical compounds. Looks fair. You didn't like Satoko's looks, the girl in D tier. As a result, the antigen-antibody reaction, namely the allergic reaction, doesn't occur. In other words, a human body that was infected by parasites secretes a high level of Iggy, but it doesn't display allergic reactions. Not really? You have to show that to Surplus and see what he thinks about it. For your information, a human body that's infected by a parasite doesn't suffer from hay fever. Excuse me. You get hay fever due to your body secreting a large number of Iggy, because it's mistaken pollen for a parasitic invasion. As a result, a large amount of stimulants like histamine will be secreted, but your body can't contain the parasite that's attempting to kill. Sent it to him. We'll see what he says then. That's why your body continues to secrete Iggy. As a result, the stimulants keep causing allergic reactions. That's how hay fever works. If you have a parasite in your body, it'll deactivate your Iggy and suppress the secretion of stimulants. As a result, you don't have allergic reaction. In other words, there's no hay fever in Hinamizawa, and you can cure your hay fever by moving here.
つまり特定はできなくてもその存在だけは疑いようがないってわけだ。
Okay, wait, what? Excuse me.
そうなるね。
だとするとそのスクラップ帳は
And then we have the different voice actor appear here as well again. I don't know why they just get they couldn't get the same one.
たとえ特定できなくても存在を証明
Or
して
maybe
い
it
る
is the
時点
same voice
で
actor,
十分に
but
危険だと思う
they
ぞ。
just gave him an older sounding voice for some reason.
そうだね。たとえ証拠にはならなくても、彼らにとってはミオさんを葬るに値する危険性があったと思う。
確かに恐ろしい秘密だな。ちゃんと説明してもらえば理解できることだが、いきなり聞いたら刺激が強すぎる話だぜ。
でしょ？だから私も最初は信じられなかったし、圭一君に話しても信じてもらえないと思った。
で、大事なのはその事実を隠蔽しようと暗躍してるや
I
ばい
don't
連
know,
中がい
this
るってこ
it
となん
doesn't
だ
seem
よな。
like the most far-fetched thing. Like, compared to, like, Oyashiro-sama's curse and, like, all that stuff, right? This doesn't seem like the most far-fetched thing, or is that just me? Like, if somebody came up and told me this, I don't think it would be, I guess the conclusion being that, oh, the villagers... I mean, I don't even know what the conclusion is. Like, yeah, like, the villagers... I guess, like, no, knowing the information that Keiichi knows right now, Mion being part of the Yakuza, I think would be the, like, biggest thing to, or the biggest pill to swallow. But then from that, I don't know if it seems like the most far-fetched thing.
そう、今大事なのはそっちの方。
The fanatics who want to revive the sanctity of the god they worship. Reviving the majesty of their god means reviving the power of that god. And the power of their god is the infectious disease. This infectious disease can't spread nationwide unlike other infectious diseases. So from now on, I'm going to start calling it an endemic disease. That fits better since it only affects this region. Anyway, the endemic disease of the current day Hinamizawa is different from the one of old times. It's been through a process of natural selection and it's harmless now. In other words, it doesn't do any harm to human bodies. That harm was once interpreted as a curse. A curse is the power of a god, so a harmless endemic disease means that god is powerless. That means the only way to regain the majesty of that god is to revive the curse. In other words, they want to bring back the primitive endemic disease, namely the harmful, strong version of this parasite.
ちょっと待てよ。信者たちは神が実は寄生虫だったなんてことは否定したいんだろう。なのに寄生虫を研究するのかよ。矛盾してないか。
It is very cool, Ruben, I agree. It is very interesting how it's being done.
矛盾しているよ。だからこの研究は信者たちのトップだけが知る秘密の研究なんだと思う。彼らは表向きは信仰を盛り上げているけど、その裏では信仰の正体について極めて冷静に理解していて。
なるほどな。おいおい、なんだかとんでもない話になってきたぞ。
ミオさんのスクラップ帳にはそうとは一言も書かれてないんだけど、
Suspicious of the clinic the
監
manager
督の
owns.
診療所って怪しいと思うの。
慰霊診療所がどうして？
ひなみ沢の規模から見て施設が立派すぎるのがその理由。
Okay, but I don't, right, because... obviously we've been suspecting Irie for some time, right? And for some reason, right, the fact he said earlier that when he looked at Tomitake's death, it's like impossible, 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 means that he does know what that syringe is and like what caused that. So he knows and has something to do with this, right? But why, when Dena and Mion were saying like, oh, the director's coming, it seemed like they were in charge, right? So why this Rena here feels like she's completely different to the one that like the director's coming, unless the director was not Irie, but like that's the only time I've ever heard the name director.
そして、ミオさんはそこに勤めていた。監督は、園崎家にスカウトされてきた細菌学者が正体とか。
監督がか?
And it also feels like they're on different sides, right? Because when Irie went to look at the kid who was kidnapped, they had to make it look like the person was not kidnapped, you know?
ミオさんは余計なことを知りすぎたから消されたんだと思うの。なのに、監督が消されない理由は、監督は信者たちに依頼されている立場だから。
そして、太古の有害な風土病を研究してるってのか。
Because you need to. The reason manager is work for the vax in the first place. Okay.
監督が。
ごめん。監督は無関係かもしれないね。今のは私の思いつき。でも、研究は間違いなく、どこかで誰かにさせている。そして、その研究には5年かかり、ついに完成を見た。
The first case was the dismemberment murder by the damn construction workers. Their quarrel had turned into a lynching. They might have had the primitive infectious disease and the symptoms, the aggression and delirium might have kicked in. The victims of the second year were Satoko's parents. There are no witnesses, so the whole event is veiled in mystery, but there's a theory that someone might have pushed them off a cliff since the fence of the observation deck that they fell from was quite sturdy. What if one of them was infected by the primitive parasite? He or she might have become violent and pushed the other over the cliff. The Shinto priest died from a disease and his wife drowned herself in the third year. He might have died of shock because of a hypersensitive reaction to the infection. His wife might have gone crazy and committed suicide when one of the symptoms, delirium, kicked in. In the fourth year, Satoshi Hojo's aunt was beaten to death, probably by Satoshi himself. Everybody who knew Satoshi-kun remembers how he changed at that time. He showed signs of being both aggressive and delirious. In the fifth year, for the first time in 5 years, the victim experienced the maggot disease, described in the old scroll of the Furude Shrine. The reason behind that is unclear, but the stronger primitive parasites could have given its victims a delusion of maggots. This means that they finally managed to duplicate the curse of Oyashiro-sama, after 5 years of research. Tomitake-san is the victim of the fifth year. He died in an extremely abnormal way, and I'm the only one who understands his death because oh, wait, no, this is Nana. Because I experienced the same thing. He kept clawing at his throat to get rid of the maggots and died as a result. With all that explained, I finally understand the maggot disease I experienced in Ibaraki. I left Hinamizawa and made the parasite in me uncomfortable. As a result, it tried to resist even though it wasn't very strong, and it tried to make me homesick. With my parents' divorce, I grew mentally imbalanced and I completely lost the power to resist for a short period of time. The parasite was weak and harmless, but mental instability allowed it to worsen my symptoms dramatically. As a result, I went crazy and became violent. The delusion of Oyashiro-sama appearing to me in the bathroom was probably the terminal phase of my delirium. I created the supernatural existence Oyashiro-sama that I was instilled with when I was little. Then I persuaded myself to go back to Hinamizawa based on that delusion. Some of the transcendents of Onigafuchi must have had the same kind of experience. They must have passed their experiences down as the act of God. I remember I once saw on TV that the indigenous people in South America use some kind of natural drug in order to have a mystical experience, and that they call it a ritual to communicate with their gods.
じゃあ、信者どもの目的は、その太古の寄生虫をひなみ沢中にばらまくことなのか?
多分、それが最終目的だと思う。でも、人知れずにそれをやることはないと思うの。宗教にはセレモニーが必要だから。だからもし、彼らが望むものを生み出せて、それをばらまく日が訪れたなら、彼らは多分それを、お社様の復活の人でも称して、宗教的なデモンストレーションをすると思うの。何か特別な儀式とか、とにかく、お社様の復活を祝い、知らしめるような盛大な何か。
なあ、それってよ、悪いことなんだよな。
危険性の高い病原体をばらまこうと言うんだから、多分、悪いことに分類されるだろうね。
それって、細菌テロって言わないか？おい、めちゃくちゃヤバいことだぞ、おい。富武さんの死に方が、お社様のたたりの再現に成功していた以上、X デーは間近ってことなんじゃないのか？
わからない。もう秒読みなのか、まだまだ時間のかか
Yeah,
る
but
こ
there's
となの
still
か。
Rika, who definitely seems to have something going on with her.
もうこれは、レナ一人が抱えていい問題じゃないぞ。かなり笑えない大陰謀だぞ。俺たちにはどうしようもない。警察に任すほうがないぞ。
私が話したこと、警察は信じてくれると思う？
信じるかどうかは向こうが判断するだろう。とにかく話した方がいい。
圭一くん、それを大石さんに私が打ち明けたら、私がスクラップ帳を持っていることを告白するのと同じなんじゃないかな。
それってまずいのか？
大石さんの接触は、ミオさんが殺された後だった。敵はミオさんを殺した時点で、スクラップ帳の紛失と、その数日前に私が図書館で出会っていることを知っている。
バカな。つまり。
そう。大石さん自体が敵の手先である可能性がある。大石さんは、私がスクラップ帳を持っている可能性があると当たりをつけていて、探りを入れてきているのかもしれない。
Most likely not true.
実際、
Because
彼はうさん
Oishi
くさくて
does
腹を
seem
割
to be
らない。
against the Sonozakis and everything.
園崎家を疑わせるようなことを言って、自分は味方だと言ってくるけど、彼だって、その園崎家の手先かもしれない。
警察を疑い出したらおしまいだぞ。
圭一くん、4年目の撲殺事件を知ってるよね。さとこちゃんのおばさんが殺されたあれは、犯人はサトシくん以外に考えられないんだけど、その後犯人は麻薬中毒者だったということに
Yeah,
な
the
った。
power of overthinking it. But in their situation, or in her situation, I think it's hard not to overthink everything.
これをどう思う？
Because, yeah, you literally can't trust anyone. And even at this point, she doesn't trust Rika or, Mion. Maybe even to some extent Satoko. Because of what happened with Satoshi. The only person she trusts is Keiichi. Not only because of what happened with the body. Or, sorry, with the body dismembered and Keiichi standing up for everyone, right? But also, Keiichi is, like, not affiliated with Hinamizawa, really.
警察内部に狂信的な連中の手先が混じっていて、犯人を捏造したってことか。
3年目の神主さんの病死の検視とか、2年目の北条夫妻の事故現場の見聞とか、警察がもしも彼らの片棒を担いでいるなら、ひなみざわ御三家はダム戦争時から今日に至るまでもずっと警察への圧力を維持してるんだよ。それに、沖宮の町のいろんなところに一族が進出して実権を握っているというのは、みーちゃんから聞かされたことがあるんじゃない？
確かに。それはミオンの口からだけじゃない。いろんな奴の口から聞かされたミオンの園崎家が、どれだけ市内全域に強力な影響力を持っているかってのをな。
そういうこと。警察は、
Hmm.
この土地では必ずしも信用できない。
なあ、レナ、すまん。先にはっきりさせたいんだが、黒幕は園崎家なのか？ミオンも関係があるってのか？それだけは先に聞かせてくれ。
御三家であるみーちゃんやリカちゃんが直接関係している
Why
か
are
は
we
わからない
panning to outside?
ただ狂信的な勢力が御三家や一番の有力家である園崎家を自由に動かせる中枢部に根付いているのは間違いない。狂信的な勢力が根付いたのか、御三家の中枢が狂信
The
的なのか
fanatics are
は
controlling the three families, or the
分か
three
りかねる
families are the fanatics themselves. Huh. That's interesting.
関係あるかどうかわからない以上、用心に越したことはないってわけだな。
うん。みーちゃんたちのことを疑うわけじゃないよ。普段のみーちゃんは頼もしいし、私も他の心配事なら、打ち明けて助力を求めることもあると思う。ただ、今回のことは、ちょっと話の次元が違う。圭一くんは見たことあるかな？みーちゃんは、普段はふざけているけど、園崎家の次期当主として振る舞うときは、ものすごく冷酷で、別人みたいに振る舞えるの。 それに、もし無関係だったとしても、それならばやはり
Yeah, I mean,
耳に入れることで
more-
危険に巻き込むことにも
I
なるんじ
wonder
ゃな
when
い
the
かな。
bodies from the trash bag are coming into play, you know? At what point? Because it will at some
ミ
point,
オンた
but
ちが味方になってくれればかなり頼もしいぞ。俺は打ち明ける価値があると思うんだが。
だからそれはダメ。敵ではないと確認が取れるまで、それは避けるべきだよ。味方にできれば確かに心強いけど、そうでなかった時はどうするつもり？
じゃあ俺とレナだけでどう戦うつもりなんだよ。
もともと最初から絶望的な戦いなんだよ。だから圭一君を巻き込みたくなかった。
くそ、高野さんめ、とんでもない置き土産を残してくれたな。
でもそのおかげで、とてつもない陰謀を知ることができたんだよ。
So what does Urena
これは
intend to do then?
ミオさんの遺言なんだよ。
村を影から牛耳る何者かに、その村
I
に住まう
don't
ガキン
think
チョ二人が挑むわけだ。
Takano knew all of that though. I think she was just like, oh, you'll hand me this scrapbook later. I don't think, like, even the thing with Shion, right? Like, she didn't intend for it to get that bad.
こいつ最高にハードな話だぞ。
And she did not expect herself to be the fifth victim.
一筋縄じゃいかねえぞ。
Also, at the same time, they said she was burned again in the mountains. She didn't disappear this time. So, is the disappearance gonna happen or something else?
でも、圭一君が味方でよかったよ。二人だから話し合えて、相談できる。
当たり前だろ。俺は最初からずっとレナの味方で仲間だぞ。
ありがとう。二人なら心強いよ。
一人で悩むよりは建設的になれるだろうしな。
そうだね。二人でどう戦えばいいか、これからじっくり相談していこう。今日は私、スクラップ帳を読み直す時間が欲しかったから休んだけど、明日からは普段通りに生活するね。
I wonder if that white van's
お
gonna
かし
show
な
up
行
again
動をすれ
then.
ば、蹴取られてしまうかもしれないからね。圭一君も変に構えないで普段通りに生活してね。
You can't. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, we already see Mio's behavior as the heir in chapter 5, and if you can't just. Yeah, exactly. It's really difficult.
みーちゃんとか、時折鋭いことがあるから、特に
It's
気をつけ
very,
て。
very difficult.
わかった。何事もなかったかのように生活するよ。だが畜生、なんだか怖いぜ。
Keiichi, just don't overreact.
とんでもない陰
Okay?
謀が間
Just
近に迫ってて、
don't overreact.
それがもうカウントダウンに入ってるかもしれないってんだぜ。それを知りつつ普段通りに生活しろってのも。
多分そんなにすぐじゃないはずなの。さっきも言った通り、彼らが狂信的であればあるほど宗教的なセレモニーを必要とするはず。そういうセレモニーは村を挙げて行うものだもの。綿流し以上のイベントは今のひなみ沢には存在しない。
ということは、少なくとも来年の綿流しまでは大丈夫ということか。
The next Watanagashi festival? Are we gonna go to the next year?
根拠のない読みだけどね。他に、綿流し以上のイベントが思いつかない。
I think we have a year at least, but I also feel like we don't because of how they killed Mio-san. Might not know, but there might be bigger religious event than Watanagashi. It might not be long until that day. On the day of Oyashiro-sama's revival, they're gonna spread a dangerous parasite, and that day might just be around the corner.
レイナ、まだ電話してるのか？そろそろ終わりにしなさい。
My father stuck his head out from the living room telling me I need to hang up soon. Thought about telling him so many times. It's natural to think that your parents will be on your side no matter what. But I just know how weak he can get, so I couldn't tell him. I don't think he'd believe me anyway, even if I told him. He'd just tell me to call the police. It's better... Oh, this is a new one. Give me a second. Sorry, give me a bit. Why is my chat not loading for some reason? It's like taking a decade to load. They might get close to my father to get me. If he didn't know anything about anything, including the scrapbooks, there'd be nothing to squeeze out of him to begin with.
ごめんね、圭一君。 今夜はもう遅いから、これで切るね。また明日、学校で。
おう、また明日、
Okay.
学校で。
Whatever. I'll figure this out later.
用心してね。圭一くんも、もう部外者
You're
じゃ
not
ない
an
んだから。
outsider anymore.
おう、せいぜい気
I
をつ
feel
け
like
る
that's
ぜ
the。first time we've ever heard someone say that to Keiichi. Right? Or it's like, obviously maybe not those exact words, but I feel like that's the first time we've heard like something along those lines being said towards Keiichi. But I could be wrong. Maybe. I don't know. I remember the suspicious man in the white van and felt a chill run through my spine. They looked like the villagers, but they weren't. They had the village accent, but they were just pretending. The more I thought about it, the more suspicious they became. It let me know that Rena and I aren't safe. If Rena is right, they're just suspicious of her. And they're not sure if she has the scrapbooks or not. But it's still creepy. Rena had probably experienced the same creepiness I felt when I saw the van several times up until now. She must sense the danger more than I do. However, the fact they weren't attacking means... The fact that they weren't attacking, that they were merely observing us, was disturbing. If they attacked her, they could have done something like going to the police. But all they're doing is just watching her from a distance. She can't do anything about it. She can't talk to anybody about it. She probably just wants to stay in her house all day. But if she acted different, they might take it as proof that she has the scrapbooks. We have to think about how to fight against them without making it obvious. I told myself that there is no going back, and I put the phone down. Okay, so it's their resolve to fight, I guess, is the main thing with that. Oh, okay, I thought it was going to be the next thing, but it is not. The next day, Rena came to school acting normally, like she said she would. She talked with Mion as cheerfully as she always did, and it made me wonder if the story she told me last night was a complete fabrication. Just got home and gonna shower. Don't know if I'll be back, so just in case. Alright, Ruben, thanks for stopping by. Hope you had a good walk. That's because the story was too ridiculously crazy to believe. This village had a very rare and very weird endemic disease, and there are religious fanatics who want to use the disease to revive their weird cult. And they've been researching the pathogen of endemic diseases so they can spread it throughout the village. I was deeply influenced by Rena last night, and I believed everything she said. But thinking about it with a cool mind under the bright sunlight sounds too crazy to be true. The story Rena told me is based on Takano-san's crazy hand-me-down ideas. It's based entirely on her theories, which, though very feasible, have no evidence whatsoever. The fact that Takano-san was murdered lends credit to the story. I'll give you that, but... I looked at Mion. She was fooling around with Rena. It's hard to believe she's involved with some crazy conspiracy.
ていうか、聞いてないでしょ、ケイちゃん。
悪い。ごめん、聞いてなかった。
まだ寝ぼけたまんまなのかな？寝不足だと、おつむもちゃんと働かないよ。
Mion made fun of me for reacting too slowly. It's almost impossible not to trust this bubbly, cheerful girl. I trust Mion. I trust my friends. I know she'd never have a hand in a crazy conspiracy like that. If she knew about it, she wouldn't be able to act this cheerfully. Rena told me not to tell Mion because she might be one of them. It might be worth telling her without letting Rena know. Of course, there's at least a 1% chance that conspiracy is true and Mion is one of them. If so, I'd be doomed. You need to watch Aliens in the Attic. I watched it a long time ago when it came out. But I don't remember anything about Aliens in the Attic now. But if I had to choose between believing the crazy conspiracy theory and trusting my friends, my answer would be obvious. I know that my friend, Mion, isn't part of any conspiracy. She'd never be involved with something like that. Even if the conspiracy exists, I'm sure Mion will be on our side. So whether or not it's true, it must be worth telling Mion about it. No, Keiichi, don't do it. Rena told you because she trusts you. Oh, no.
なに、ケイちゃん。
Oh, it's over. It's over. How old were you in 2009? What the hell? I was 7? 7 when it came out? Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends. Like, literally 6 or 7. if I were to guess.
こんなところに呼び出して。それも誰にも内緒で来いなんてさ。まさか、カツアゲとかそういうのじゃないよね。
お前な、体育倉庫の裏に呼ばれたら、真っ先にそう思うのかよ。
じゃあ、ラブレターとか？でもそういうのは下駄箱が定番じゃない？
都会じゃそうでもないぞ。直接渡す白兵線型も少なくない。
じゃあ、
なわけねえだろ。それより、かなり真面目な話がある。茶化しは一切なしで聞いてくれ。
何よ。
お社様信仰を復活させようとしている連中がいる。
And why are you telling her, Keiichi? Oh, and everything's gonna go to shit now.
は？何？ケイちゃん。何の話？
This, of course, was just my way of getting a feel for the situation. I wanted to see how she was gonna react by getting straight to the point. But Mion really did look puzzled. People would normally react like this if somebody pointed out their secrets out of the blue. They always panic, if only just a little. Either Mion was a brilliant actress, or she really didn't have anything to do with the idea of reviving Oyashiro-sama. I decided to tell her
ミ
everything.
オ、お前の家の園崎家って、ひなみ沢を含め、ものすごい影響力を持ってるわけだけどさ、お社様信仰を復興するため、何か暗躍してるってことは、あるか？
こう？なんで？
いや、だからさ、今のお社様信仰って、大昔の時代に比べたら、だいぶ信仰心が薄くなってるだろ？それをさ、大昔の鬼ヶ淵村のレベルまで引き戻したいと思っている。いわゆる原理主義者的な連中が暗躍をしてるんじゃないかって。
はい？ちょっと、何の話なわけ？
本当に何の話かわからないのか？
わかるわけないよ。何その全米第1位みたいな面白ストーリーはさ。
Mion's reaction was very natural. It seemed impossible that she was pretending she didn't know anything about it. Regardless, I
いや、
continued.
だから、そういう連中がこの村にいるらしいんだよ。ミオは知らないか？
お社様信仰を鬼ヶ淵村の時代のレベルに？そんなことして何かいいことあるの？
いや、そりゃ信仰の厚い狂信的な連中にとってはとても
だってケイちゃん、大昔の厳しい戒律の頃に逆戻りって誰も喜ばないよ。
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, what is the point of it?
今のこの現代、村から出るななんて言われたら生活なんかやってられないって。
例えばほら、リカちゃんって何でもお社様の生まれ変わりとか言ってちやほやされてるらしいだろ。そういった取り巻きの老人たちの中にはきっと狂信的な一派が存在して。
リカちゃんの取り巻きって言うと、君吉のおじいちゃんとかのこと？まあ確かに信仰心は厚い方だと思うけど、狂信的ってのはどうかと思うね。
Okay, this conversation isn't going where I thought it would be going, but like, it's still a bit sus.
いや、だからいるんだよ。
I don't know why Keiichi thought this was a good idea.
本来のお社様信仰を再び復活させようとしているやからな。
Keiichi, just stop. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
はいはい。話が進まないからこの場は信じるよ。それで？
で、そいつらは、お社様の正体が、この土地独特の風土病にあることを突き止め、その病原体を研究しているらしいんだ。
どこで？というか、風土病って何？病原体って何よ？
Thank you,
レン
Mion.
ガ長。
I was getting confused. I didn't know what I was talking about myself anymore. I was so deeply influenced by Urena last night and believed everything she said, but having said it all loud, I started realizing how impossible the story sounded.
どうしたの？ミオさんに妙なことでも吹き込まれたわけ？
知ってるのか？
有名だよ。あの人、オカルトマニアだから、いっつもとんでもない空想話をでっち上げてる。たまに真に受ける人がいると、かなりヘビーに吹き込むって有名なんだよ。私も昔、話を聞かせてもらったことがあったけど。
それって、本当か？
ケイちゃんもどこかで耳にしてるだろうけど、この村は、大昔はちょっと特殊な文化があった。それは少し刺激の強い要素のある文化でね。厳しい戒律と
I
厳
know
しい刑
Mion is someone who
罰。
like does not
残酷
believe
な
in
風習は
Oyashiro-sama or
割
any of
とオ
that
カル
stuff
トマニアの間で
whatsoever.
は知られてるらしい。
But I don't know what her role is like at all.
ミオさんもそんなマニアの中の一人。
じゃあ、 この村が怪しげな寄生。
はあ？寄生虫？それ、ミオさんの新作？
Yeah, but the thing is, Rena is the parasite, so Rena has first-hand
新
knowledge.
作ってどういうことだよ。
言ったでしょ？ミオさんはオカルトマニアなの。鬼ヶ淵村の奇怪な伝説などを研究して、あれやこれやの仮説や推理、妄想を楽しんでるわけよ。だからその寄生虫に村が支配されてるって説以外にもいろいろ創作してる。私がずいぶん前に聞いたのは UFO 説だったよ。これが結構辻褄が合ってて面白いの。太古の昔に鬼ヶ淵村に UFO が墜落して、そこから出てきた異星人と村人で戦いが起こってという感じから始まる B 級 SF ホラーだった。
Okay. I mean, fine. Sure.
聡子が聞かされたってのは地底人説だったかな。地殻変動によって地底王国と鬼ヶ淵村の間に接点ができてしまって、
What
そ
if
れ
they're all
で
true,
そ
though?
うそう、地底王国のお姫様と村の若者が恋をして互いに仲直りをしたっていう
Maybe it's
SF ロ
all
ミオとジュリエッ
true.
トだっ
How
た。
about that one?
んで最新作がどうやらケイちゃんの聞かされた寄生虫説ってわけみたいだね。いやいや、いつかそれらを全部まとめて本にしてほしいよ。
Mion began laughing so hard that she had to hold her stomach. I looked at her laughing like that. I realized I fell for something that ridiculous. At that point, it was obvious. I had been completely taken
すま
in.
ん、ミオ。俺がこれから聞くことに答えてくれ。まず、お社様信仰を復活させようとする連中は、
Dude,
実在す
why
る。
are we? I want to skip. This is a part I really want. This is like one of the worst things. Like the secondhand embarrassment thing. I can't take this.
しないよ。というかむしろ逆。
Oh my gosh, Keiichi's just digging a deeper hole for himself.
南沢は外部に対してどんどん開いていって栄えさせていこうということで、御三家はすでに意見を統一してる。
That is true.
これはまだ内緒なんだけど、21
as you
世紀ま
saw
でを
with
めど
the
に
dam
ね、
stuff in
新しい
chapter
高速道
4,
路が
like
ここいら
wanting
を通
them,
るという
wanting
計画がある
foreigners
ん
to
だ
come.
よ。
Oh, that's
園
cool.
崎家は現在水面下でその誘致をしててね、うまくいけばここいらは一気に栄えることになる。バッチャはそれによって山林の地価が一気に高騰して大儲けできると踏んでるみたい
Your
な。
grandma will be dead by the time that happens. I don't know what.
まあ21世紀の仕事だから、それは私が引き継ぐ大仕事になりそうだけどね。
じゃあ、外部の人間を意味嫌う連中なんてのは、存在しない？
だからそんなの存在しないって。ただでさえ不便な村をさらに不便にしてどうするんだか。現に村は今別荘地として売り出しを開始してる。
Oh. You've already started selling the land of the village to rich people. This is the first time. How is this the first time we've heard of this? Like, ever.
ケイちゃんの家はまさにその第1号じゃないの。村人はみんな歓迎してくれたでしょ。若者の流出を食い止めるため、御三家もいろいろと考えてるんだから。
There was nothing vague about what Mion had said. Her story makes a lot more sense than Takano's delusional theories. And so Mion's words woke me up from the
じゃ
delusion.
あじゃあ、あれはどうだよ。寄生虫の感染
Dude,
の証拠を
Keiichi,
示
she's
す
not
血
gonna
液
know
中の
this.
なんとかとかいう。
そうなの？というか、ミオさんはそんなのどうやって調べたわけ？
だって、高野さんは看護師だろ。調べる気になれば、いくらだって。
そんな怪しげな調査のために誰が血液採取なんかに協力するの？誰もしないって。それに仮に採血をしたってどこでどう調べたわけ？ミオさんがたった一人で一体何人の血を調べられたっていうわけ？
Mion was right. I couldn't believe I thought Takano-san could do that all just because she was a nurse. It struck me hard to believe that she got so many blood samples and did a high-level examination like that without any help. When I thought about it rationally, I shouldn't have believed such a ridiculous story so easily.
寄生虫の寄生の証拠として、花粉症にかからない。
花粉症って都会の病気じゃないの。あれは確か排気ガスと関係があるんでしょ？ここはひなみ沢だよ、ケイジ。というか多分沖宮の人にだって花粉症なんてそうそういないと思うけど。
じゃああれは園崎本家当主直属の暗殺部隊ってのがいて、昔大臣の孫の誘拐とかをやったんだろう。
そんなのがいたらかっこいいね。
This one was true, though. Oh no, but I guess the death squad or whatever, maybe. Even I was sounding ridiculous, but I believed all of it last night. I believed it because Lena looked very serious.
大臣の孫が高津戸のあたりで突然発見されたのは事実。だけれど、あれは私たちじゃない。
But you did do it. So I wonder if she's just lying about everything then.
私たちじゃないけど、それを私たちはさも自分たちが犯したように振る舞ってた。
You just acted like if we... But... There was the thing where Oreo... Like, at least we saw in chapter 4. Like, Oreo gave the... How do you say? The command to, like, let the... Like, it's time to let the guy go free, you know? So, I don't know.
わかりにくいぞ。説明してくれ。
うん。ダム戦争の当時、鬼ヶ淵死守同盟は相当に物騒な抵抗運動をしていたのは事実。脅迫めいたこともやってのけた。でもね、あの当時それを利用するやらしい連中もいたらしいの。鬼ヶ淵死守同盟の名を語って金品を要求したりするエセ同盟って連中。
The Onigahuchi Guardians were a very aggressive force at the time. There's a high possibility that some people thought they could use the name to extort money.
その中に大臣の孫の誘拐もあったの。おそらく誘拐犯たちは警察の捜査の撹乱を狙って死守同盟のふりをして身代金を要求したんだと思う。正直あの事件は同盟にとっても驚きだったよ。
Yes, Diana.
よく大臣の孫を誘拐できたもんだって話題になったね。犯人たちに会えたら表彰してやろうなんて盛り上がったっけ？
ちょっと待て。じゃあ大臣の孫の
Can you
誘
look
拐
at the
は
Arby's menu on
鬼
stream
ヶ
real
淵死守
quick,
同盟
okay?
は何も関係ないのかよ。
Okay, what? I'm looking at the Arby's menu. So give me a second. Go to sandwiches. All right. Reject non-essential. Okay. Sandwiches. Where is this? Am I in sandwich? Okay, crafted sandwiches and gyros. Okay. I'm here. Now what? Half-pound roast beef? Wait, where? Oh, this one? Oh, scroll up. Okay. I see. Okay. Half-pound roast beef. I see. Dude, do people, like, get this? This is crazy. What even is, like... Who? Up here. This is 610 calories. Like, what? Is there anything other than roast beef on this? Or is it just like 2 pieces of bread with this roast beef? This is crazy. What am I even looking? Why are you guys looking at the... How did you find this? Like, we're just looking through the Arby's menu just because? What is that? I dare you to order one and eat it. I don't think we have Arby's here where I'm at. So I don't think I can. If I ever go to the US though, maybe I would do that. It's my Prime sub money. I mean, with the amount of Prime subs you've have accumulated from you, I probably could get that, but I probably could buy it if I had one here, but I don't have one here. We're doing a fast food tier list because Rissa was in the mood.
全くない。
Like, just overall fast food or like items from fast food? Mion said it firmly. It was a simple and clear answer which left no room for suspicion. And thinking about it, it's nothing surprising. Kidnapping the grandson of a minister and negotiating with him in person is a huge deal. The Onigafuchi Guardians were an aggressive group, but this operation wasn't so easy that it could be carried out by any of the normal residents of Hinamizawa. It was obviously the work of professional criminals, without a doubt.
ただね、園崎本家はね、この誘拐事件を自分たちが黒幕であるかのように振る舞っていた。
Overall fast food chains, I see, okay.
振る舞ったってのは
Her takes are pretty base. What's the tier list so far?
これは園崎本家の秘密の家訓なの。
Why can't you show me?
ケイちゃんにはこっそり話すけど、話したことは内緒だよ。園崎本家ではね、 自分たちに都合がいい何かの事件が起こった時、あたかもそれが自分たちの差し金であるように振る舞うブラフの伝統がある。
No spoilers? Oh, for Umineko. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you can't show me the fast food one. I was like, what spoilers are there for fast food? Okay, no, but for Umineko. How many cake flavors are there that you want to do?
ブラフって、はったり？
うん。自分たちに利することがあったなら、それは事件でなくてもいい。お天
Why
気
are
で
you
もいい
laughing
し、
at that?
宝
Oh,
くじ
welcome
の
back,
当選番
Ruben.
号でもいい。
How's your shower?
あたかも、その先本家が望んだから、そのような結果になったかのように振る舞うの。そうするとどう？なんだかものすごい黒幕ってイメージになるでしょ？
It was great. Nice.
つまりはそういうこと。これは、その先本家の当主だけに代々公伝で伝承される秘密のイメージ戦略なの。自分たちを本来よりも、より強大に見せようとするイメージ戦略。
じゃあ、ほら、ダム戦争時に建設省を占拠するって作戦があったんだろ？あれは。しかもそのために武器やら訓練やら。
それも全く同じだよ、ケイちゃん。そんなバカな作戦、本当にやるわけないじゃん。最大の目的は、あいつらならやりかねない、なんて恐ろしい奴らだっていうプレッシャーと幻想を与えるのが最大の目的だったんだよ。つまり、これもまたイメージ戦略ってわけ。
They obtained weapons and went through their training just so they could exact pressure. They had no intention of actually carrying out that plan. The Sonozaki family was just bluffing. That made sense. Of course it did. It's impossible to attack the Ministry of Construction. Even if they did, it wouldn't solve the problem. All I had to do was use common sense. Even if they did, they would have been crushed within seconds by a huge number of policemen. Why didn't I think of that?
じゃあ、武器とか訓練とかってのは？
武器に関しては、ノーコメントでいいよね。訓練もやったよ。はったりになるよう、ちゃんとしっかりね。笠井さんをリーダーに、お父さんとこの若い衆たちを引き連れて、テキサスの砂漠でトレーナーさんと戦争ごっこをやった後は、サンフランシスコでのんびり観光してた。
じゃあ。
I couldn't think of anything else. It was obvious now. Nana and I both were completely fooled by the scrapbooks of Takano-san's delusion. Nana was so serious about it, so I believed her, but if you examine it closely, there were so many inconsistencies. I couldn't believe Nana took a delusion like that so seriously. I knew the reason why, though. She was still in a state of shock after being caught with the corpses that day. She was mentally unstable. And she came across this tall tale, and she believed it. Nana is a smart girl. What's been happening? Well, Keiichi is just like, I don't know, flip-flopping between his point of view. So Mio's just telling him, yeah, that entire story Dena just told you. Keiichi didn't tell her that Dena told him that, but like that entire story, it's like what are you even talking about? It's just Takano's delusions. She would have taken it seriously if she was stable. Plus another thing happened to wake me up from the delusion. The white van I saw yesterday came to school during the lunch break. The 4 men in work uniforms I saw were there too. I said thank you to Mion and followed them. The man who talked to me yesterday knocked on the door of the teacher's office.
毎度おこのぎ造園でございますんで。
どうもご苦労様です。今日も暑いですね。
いえいえ、先生は今日もますますべっぴんで。
This is the same voice of the guy who kidnapped the minister, right? It sounds like it.
ではすみません。今日もよろしくお願いいたします。
はい、よろしくお願いします。これ、うちの事務屋から渡すように言われましたんで。
見積書と請求書ですね。ありがとうございます。日付は空欄ですね。問題ありません。はい、お預かりします。
はい、それでは取り掛かりますんで。
The man was talking to Chie-sensei with a big smile.
どうしたのかね、前原くん。
あ、校長先生、今の男の人は誰ですか？
The principal pointed his finger at the window. When I looked out, I heard the noise of an engine starting. That what's impressive. The noise was coming from the engine of a motorized lawnmower. I saw young men in work uniforms taking another lawnmower and some brooms and a ladder out of the van. Nothing? Okay.
園芸業者さんである。 だいぶ垣根や樹木が手入れされてなかったからの。夏前に一度剪定を頼もうと思ったのだよ。
ああ、校長先生。この度はお世話になりまして。
The man noticed the principal, took off his hat, and bowed.
うん。よろしく頼み申しますぞ。
ああ、校長先生。この度はお世話になりまして。なんとか今日中で終わらせますんで、しばらくうるさくしますんが、ご容赦を。
Each worker took one of their tools and walked towards the fence where the grass was growing. The engine of the lawnmower was very loud, and the kids who were playing in the schoolyard looked at it cautiously.
こら危ないですから皆さん教室へ戻りなさい。
It was Chie-sensei. She handed an envelope with the documents in it to the principal. It said, Okonogi Gardeners, in green on the envelope.
では校長先生、申し訳ありませんが、この請求書を後日市役所に行かれるときに持って行ってください。
うん、心得た。
千恵先生、あの造園屋さんは、昨日も来てました？
ええ、昨日の夕方に一度、下見に来てもらいました。
You're forgetting about the main thing. They said they were looking specifically for Rena.
帰りに近道をしようとして、迷ってしまったと言ってましたっけ？
この村は細い道はだいぶ入り組んでおるからの。無理もないわい。
I remember when I first came here, Chie-sensei started talking about when she got lost, and they laughed together. There was never anything suspicious to begin with. Thought they were suspicious yesterday because of what Rena had told me. At first I thought it was unusual to see a white van, but then right after I heard her creepy story, I saw a white van parked on the road and I got scared. The gardeners weren't familiar with the roads of Hinamizo, and they got lost trying to take a shortcut on their way back. That's all. I had it totally twisted around. I believe that fake-sounding story. I believe that the Sonozaki family was working behind the scenes, and I fabricated the existence of a group of fanatical believers in my mind. Worse, I doubted Mion. Damn it, I'm such a fool. She's my friend. We took each other's hands that day, saying that we were a family made of friends, and that friends were friends no matter what. Oh, here's where stuff starts falling apart. Oh, here's where stuff starts falling apart. Oh, yeah. I said that, but then I doubted my friend. I'm so stupid. Anyway, Rena was the problem. She also needed to wake up from this crazy delusion. I had to hurry up and wake her. Then it seemed like she had no mind to listen to anyone else. She truly believes that the Sonozaki family are the masterminds of a large-scale conspiracy. I remember the plate number of the white van, and I also remember their faces. Without a doubt, this was one of the vans that had been following me. So far, I've confirmed that 3 or 4 cars have been following me. Whose side are on? Rena's. Mion already lied. Because she knows that... at least based on chapter 4, she knows that her family was the one that kidnapped the minister. Right? So, because she lied about that, we know she lied about that, we don't know what else she could be lying about. So, I'm definitely on Dena's side. And Dena's also my goat, so... And Keiichi broke... By the way, Keiichi never would have been confronted with this information, in quotations. I'm doing like the quotation marks with my hands. If he listened to Dena and he put his trust in Dena and just didn't talk to anyone else about it. Right? This is something that is very important and literally could screw over both of them. If he, like, obviously Mion played it off, but it could have been ended a lot worse. So yeah, I also can't go against my goat Rena, so I have to choose Rena's side. Until I have some reason to be... And in fact, I'm anti-Keiichi, so it gives me even more of a reason to be on Dena's side. So far I've confirmed that so withholding information from friends is a good decision sometimes. If it means your life is on the line, yeah. And especially, like... If it means your life is on the line, for one, And two, if you don't know, they're involved in the kidnappings and potential... They could be the danger to your situation. So, I think in most situations it is good to talk to them, but the main thing about this case, right? It's not your information to give. If it was like Keiichi found out this information and then talked to someone about it, I think that'd be fine. The thing is, Rena told it to Keiichi because she trusted him to not tell it to anyone. But he broke that trust, and he went and told Mion. That's the difference. It's because it's not his information to give, and he didn't even relay it in the correct way that Rena did. So, he did multiple things wrong in that situation. I could especially recall this white van because it followed me around the longest of all. The people who were in the other cars must have been the lookouts, and the ones in this van must be tasked with direct contact, like kidnapping or assassination. The lookouts secure the surroundings, and the one in this van attacked the target. That's a common maneuver involved in both kidnapping and assassination. Scrapbook said that too. If so, I'd better watch out because it was them, not the lookouts who came to the school premises. I don't think they'll attack me while I'm in school. They're in the early stage of their covert operation now, hiding their fangs and claws into the last stage of their horrifying scheme. That's why they won't take action in the school, where people are watching. But it looked like they were talking with Chie-sensei in a very friendly way. I could only hear bits and pieces of their conversation, but it sounded very suspicious. I tried to remember the chatter and the movements of their mouths, and I played my memory of it like a videotape in my mind.
毎度
どうもご苦労様です。今日も暑いですね。
いいえいいえ。
ではすみません。今日もよろしくお願いいたします。
はい。よろしくお願いします。これ、うちの事務屋から渡すように言われましたんで。
ですね。ありがとうございます。わあ、空欄ですね。はい、お預かりします。
はい、それでは。
Okay, so she was listening to the same thing with Keiichi at the time. I used the information I had to guess what's going on. I played the video again and again in my mind, and also paused it and played it in slow motion to check many times. Then something unbelievably horrifying started to emerge. There's no doubt they're acquainted with Chie-sensei. I've never seen them visit the school before, so it's hard to believe that Chie-sensei is their contact. There's no doubt that they're the Death Squad under the direct control of the Sonozaki family. They have the local accent, which proves that they were chosen from the Sonozaki Corps. The Death Squad was talking with Chie-sensei. They know each other. What's their relationship? Who's Chie-sensei anyway? During the dam conflict, Hinamizawa's school was closed and was merged with the one in Okinomiya. See, they're trying to make Rena look insane here. And I think to some degree, she is. But I think at this point, she uncovered something very deep. And it's really hard to trust anyone. The only person in her mind she can trust is Keiichi. But when Keiichi goes back and tells her that, he talked to Mion, you should snap out of this, she's gonna think that they got to him, whatever that means, and that she can't trust anyone anymore. And it's just gonna feed into her delusions. I think what she said initially is actually pretty true, right? But and the fact that she, Tomitake, Rika in chapter 5 and her had like the same experience at the same reaction means something. And I think there is some truth to it. But needless to say, the school they made didn't have a teacher. So it was only going to be a token form of resistance. But a teacher who had a strong passion for education felt sorry for the children, and she came to work there. That was Rumiko Chie-sensei. It was obviously strange. Teachers are government employees, and they normally belong to their prefectures. As long as they lie low and don't cause trouble, they don't get fired, and they don't get demoted. They can work up until the official retirement age, and they're guaranteed to get a fixed retirement fund. She was one of those government employees, but she defied the Board of Education and came to work for Hinamizawa. The villagers admire her as a teacher of passion. I heard that from Orio Sonozaki herself successfully negotiated with the Board of Education that suspended Chie-sensei for defying their orders. It was easy to get an answer from this by connecting the dots. Chie-sensei was recruited by Oryo Sonozaki as a teacher to work at the school. Excuse me. The Onigafuchi Guardians had created. In other words, she was already working for Oryo before she came here. As for the principal, he was the principal of the school in Himizuo from the beginning. He's a respected person of this region, and he's been closely associated with the three families for a long time. So that means the school had been under the control of the Sonozaki family all along. Huh. And that's why the school is the picture in front for the main title screen. She since it confirmed that I came to school today, made a phone call, and called them here? I don't want to know why she called them here. If she called them just to monitor me, they'd wait near the gates until class was over. But they came onto school premises. Why? Stop pretending to be a fool, Rena Ryugu. You think nothing will happen if you pretend not to notice it? Think hard and calm down. Rena, oh, wait, she does the same thing. We had calm down Keiichi Maebara. Then we had calm down Shion Sonozaki. And now we have calm down Rena Ryugu. Let's see who says the line next. Well, they try to do to me today in school. In school? How are they going to do anything with my classmates and friends around me? It's easy. Chie-sensei will tell me to come to the teacher's office during the last class of the day. What about my clubmates? That's easy too. Chie-sensei can easily make them go home early using her authority as a teacher. She can make up any reason she wants. Maybe the classroom is going to have carpentry work today done. They can't stay in school.
いいえいいえ。は今日。
ではすみません。今日もよろしくお願いいたします。
See, there's no doubt. They clearly said they're ready to do today. And what else?
はい。よろしくお願いします。これ、うちの事務屋から渡すように言われましたんで。
と、ですね。ありがとうございます。は空欄ですね。はい、お預かりします。
I see. They gave Chie-sensei an envelope with some documents in it. That blank is an eerie phrase. Was my name supposed to be in the blank? Why is it left blank? What does that mean? I told you, Rena Ryugu. You still think that nothing will happen if you pretend not to notice it. Stop that! So what it must mean is that it's an order from the higher up. It says to make Rena Ryugu become blank. I took a peek from the shadows and saw the principal taking documents out of the envelope. He started reading them. He looked stern. He looked very serious. I wished I could take a peek at the documents, but I was too far away. I kept looking at him just to see if he'd react at all. And then the envelope caught my eye. The envelope said, Okonogi Gardeners, and it had some numbers that looked like a phone number. Fortunately, I have good eyesight. I memorized the number. If they're a death squad, the gardening company must be a camouflage occupation. It probably doesn't even exist. I wanted to find out. I looked for a phone. There's only one phone, and it's in the teacher's office. Fortunately, the teachers were chatting in the hallway looking at the gardeners. It was now or never. I made sure nobody was watching me go into the teacher's office. I rushed in and grabbed the phone on the principal's desk. Went over the phone number in my head and dialed it up. I'm glad they have a touch-tone phone. It would have been difficult if it was a rotary dial. If somebody answered, I'd only have to ask, is this the Okinogi Gardeners? I wait for the answer before hanging up. Should be easy. It connected.
お客様がおかけになった電話番号は
Felt a cold chill run through my body from the bottom of my feet. Wait, don't make a quick judgment. Might have remembered the number wrong. No, I know I remembered it right. It was an easy number to remember. It's impossible to remember it wrong. And did I dial it wrong? Did she remember it right? I put the phone down and started over. This time I dialed the number more slowly. The teachers might be coming back at any time. In that situation, it was risky to do anything slowly. But I needed to make absolutely sure.
お客様がおかけになった電話番号は
It's the same. There's no doubt. The company, Okonogi Gardeners, doesn't exist. It's just a camouflage occupation for the Sonozaki family's death squad.
番号をお確かめの上もう一度ダイヤルしてください。お客様がおかけになった電話番号
I
は
was too stunned to pretend the receiver. The announcement kept running over again and again. The voice was creepy and cold. I hung the phone and rushed out of the teacher's office. I ran to the bathroom and held my head in an attempt to cool down. Calm down, Rena. Calm down, Rena Ryugu. Stay cool, Rena Ryugu. I wasn't safe here anymore. If I stayed here, I might be erased, even in the open. They'd erase me? Why? They weren't certain I have the scrapbooks. I told Keiichi-kun where I had the scrapbooks. Yesterday I told him I hid them in my hideout, in the garbage dump. Is Keiichi-kun in cahoots with the Sonozaki family? I felt as if my head was a pot that was cooking some dubious stew. There's only one soup in my brain. I cut up clues, information, and facts like I cut up vegetables and threw them into the pot. Some of them were floating on the surface and others were on the bottom of the pot. They're being cooked in a boiling soup. No, it can't be. Keiichi-kun is on my side. He's the... Oh. Yeah, about that, Urena. He held his hand to me at the trash piles. There was no lie in that hand. When he grabbed my wrist, I felt nothing but his strong and pure heart. He promised me he'd be on my side. I shouldn't doubt Keiichi-kun. He's the only one I should trust. He's the only one who's on my side right now.
ごめん、ケイチ君。危うく君を疑いそうになった。本当にごめんね。本当にごめんね。
I said it out loud on purpose, full of regret. Said it out to Keiichi-kun, the only one who's on my side. Oh, no, Rena, no. Now that I think about it, whenever I have the scrapbooks or not, might not matter to them. Erase anyone who's suspicious. That's the safest way. Does this mean they're in a hurry? The day of Oyashiro-sama's revival might just be around the corner. And that's why they're trying to get rid of any small fish bones that are stuck in the throat, by any means before it's too late. You don't need her anymore. Just erase her if you're worried so much. I could easily picture Orio Sonozaki saying that. Sure? No, she did say that. That's why they're here today. What should I do? What should I do? Should I wait until school's over? It's like a fish in a pond. No matter how many times I escaped from the net, I was in that pond. And they owned the pond. I didn't stand a chance. Then what should I do now? I couldn't keep escaping from the net. I should get out of the pond. I didn't know how to fight them. I didn't know who's on my side. I was about to give in to despair. For now, I'd have to think about how to survive this. So I'd at least have time to think about how to fight against them. I have to get out of this pond. And then she's about to open, and Keiichi comes up, and that's when she, like, runs away. Pretend to be sick and talk to the girl while leaning on the wall.
ごめんね。私、ちょっとどうしても具合が悪くて、早退するからって先生に伝えておいてくれないかな。
I shouldn't let Chie-sensei know that I'm leaving school early if I'm trying to run away from them. But if I didn't, they might think I ran away without cause. They might lead them to chase after me without mercy. If that happens, I don't stand a chance. They were planning to capture me after school is over, but I happened to feel sick and left school early. If they took it that way, they wouldn't think that I noticed the noose tightening around me. I was about to go back to the classroom to get my bag, but I changed my mind and turned around. I didn't need my bag anymore. I realized nobody was watching me, so I stopped pretending to be sick and started running.
Hmm? Chie-sensei, ここがおかしいですぞ。
おかしい？どうかなさいましたか？
見積書と請求書の日付が空欄になっておりますぞ。ここは今日の日付ではないのですかな？
ああ、そこはお役所の都合らしいんです。見積書の日付と請求書の日付が同じだと、なんだか都合が悪いそうで、庶務係さんから空欄にするよう、よく念を押されています。
あとそれから、請求書に書いてある電話番号と、封筒に書いてある電話番号が違っています。
Oh, no.
どちらが正しいのですかな？
あらやだ、本当ですね。社長さん！
はい、どうしましたんね？
請求書に書いてある電話番号と封筒の電話番号が違ってますけど、どちらが正しいのですか？
請求書の方の電話番号が正しいんで、先代の事務所の時の封筒がまだだいぶ余ってたもんなんで、それに入れてきてまったんですわ。すんませんね。バイトの子に全部新しい番号のハンコを押しとくように言ったんだけどな。すんまへん。消しておいてもらえますかね。
Well, shit is right. That guy definitely is the same guy who kidnapped the kid, though. Like, that voice was... Like, I remember that voice very clearly. And it's the same voice. I do think so. Like, it has to be. Like, so, meaning that Udena has some truth to what she's saying. And it's not... I don't think it's completely accurate, the conspiracy that Udena has come up with. But, like, I don't think Chie is a part of it. Nor the principal. But that guy definitely is part of the death squad and is probably using the garden thing. Like, I don't know, like, why is the work being done in the garden out front? Maybe something was messed up, or are they just doing renovations? If it's the former, then maybe they could have messed it up and they knew that they would have called the gardeners, and that's where they come in. Hi, Teacup. We're gonna be ending here, but thanks for stopping by, though. Hope your day was well. The danger of a culture-bound syndrome lies in the fact that it can easily trigger delusional misidentification syndrome. That is to say, in the current case, every time the patient sees something trivial, she tries to interpret it as a curse. It's believed that as a result of the accumulation of these events in an understandable form, a delusional system is created, ultimately leading to paranoia. Furthermore, the patient is also exhibiting signs of a personality disorder. Of course, it's at a very mild level, and it's not causing any hindrance whatsoever to the patient's daily life. It's common for even healthy individuals to have primary delusions in their daily lives. They're usually ignored automatically without recognition, since those delusionals are nonsensical. However, there are cases where these delusions accumulate despite being incomprehensible. It largely depends on the particular characteristics of the individual, and it's believed that the patient shows relatively strong characteristics in this area. I believe you're very much aware that the primary delusions are categorized into 3 different kinds. Delusional mood is the feeling of impending crisis without basis. Delusional intuition is the feeling of a sense of duty or goal without basis. Delusional perception is the feeling of a baseless cause against baseless target. In the patient's case, it's believed that those incomprehensible delusions accumulated, acted out simultaneously with culture-bound syndrome, which triggered a delusional misidentification syndrome. And it ultimately caused the incomprehensible delusions to become understandable by interpreting them as a curse. The comprehensible delusional system induces understandable secondary delusions, further strengthening the patient's delusional system with the passage of time. The delusional parasitosis mentioned earlier can be considered a secondary delusion. A common factor of all cases of paranoia is that even after an outbreak, they still appear perfectly normal with no change in their personalities. The patients are unaware of their own ailments, and due to their personal interpretations of their delusional system, there are many cases in which the patients arm themselves logically, making it extremely difficult for a third party to point out that they're having a delusion. Furthermore, although it may depend on the tendency of the delusions, there are also cases where persecutory delusion turns into a pursuit delusion or conspiracy delusion, resulting in the patient creating an imaginary enemy and taking up antisocial behavior. For example, there are cases where believers of a religious cult were deeply influenced by the cult's founder and paranoid visions, which shifted the group into a conspiracy delusion and that made them conduct antisocial behavior in the name of self-defense. Although no such cases have been reported in Japan yet, it can very well happen in the near future. Fortunately, the patient hasn't reached that serious of a condition as of now. With proper treatment, she should be able to make a full recovery. Please make sure that her father also understands that this is not an unusual case, but something caused by the accumulation of a number of innocent factors that anyone could have. The patient can be treated only by deepening her bond with her father. As long as she has that bond, she can certainly be treated. For the reasons above, the patient is to return to her home village. I strongly recommend that the patient continue to receive guidance from specialized medical institutions. Please excuse me for writing such a long letter. Thank you for reading this until the very end. Damn! Stuff and things are happening. Fish in a pond. Achievement unlocked. There's a couple things left. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 achievements left. Right? But 2 of those, like, had a chat with Yukishi and read all tips, so that one doesn't count. But then really 4 segments left. I don't know why it gives you so many. I know, right? Like, dude, like, why do I need this for? You said you literally have less than Umineko, right? And it's literally 4 chapters in one. Yeah, I don't know why you need this. I don't know why you need this many. Like, you know what? Maybe one day I'll start from, like, over here. You know, I'll do the save slots over here instead of 1. But I think I'll have to click here every time, so I don't know. Because, yeah, like, I don't know, like, I use this and, like, the first bit of this. I don't even go to the second half of this. Like, why do I need 8 more folders of save slots? I mean, not necessarily, like, I don't know. Like, I was just thinking maybe, just so I can use with some of these later folders, but I don't know what the point of this really even is. It is, you know, I do see it is a little cicada. Does Umineko have like the storks? You said it was storks, right, for Umineko? Sakoni is a stork. Oh, what was Umineko? Hope you guys are in. Umineko's a seagull. What's the difference between a stork and a seagull? Stork versus seagull. Oh, okay. The storks are like the big ones. Why are there two birds? Yeah, like seagull, stork. They seem very similar. And then cicada is just here. All thematic, I see. So what? In Higurashi, they always say like, and the Higurashi continues to cry, or like, you know, there's some dramatic thing like that at the very end of the chapter. Do they do like, and the Umineko continues to cry? Does it do that? Like at some point randomly in the story? At like to add dramatic effect at some point? Yeah, the seagull's calls are brought up. I see. Okay. It has narrative purpose. Okay. Okay. I feel like it. I always thought that the Higurashi had some narrative purpose in this as well. Like, I don't know what it would be, but it did feel like it had some narrative purpose here in Higurashi. Maybe it's like the souls of the dying. But I don't know. For some reason or another. But yeah, I think I'll be ending here for today. A couple more streams, and then this will be done. Yeah. That'll be it from me then for today. Thank you for everyone who stopped by the stream. I appreciate it, and I'll be back with more Higurashi When They Cry